and Sarah Kendrick at the Harrison House, and it is so exciting. It's the biggest project to date, and I can't wait for everyone to see it.
Thank you. We are tired. We're exhausted.
I believe it.
I mean, this was by far the most challenging house we've ever taken on.
So I remember the first time that I first set foot in this house, and I remember thinking like, wow, they're taking this on, because you're on the first floor and you can look up through the second floor, through the third floor roof.
You
to
can
see the sky.
You could get rained on in this house.
Yes.
I'm not kidding. Who does that?
I don't know.
First off, who does that? Who are the nuts that bought that thing? Holy crap.
I remember a little bit thinking that, like, whoa, this is huge. Like,
I remember thinking, we can't bring our child in this house because he could get hit by lightning.
Massive liability.
Yeah, or fall through the floors.
Or fall, yeah.
But you amazingly managed to preserve some pieces of the house.
It wasn't us. We did nothing. I'm just joking. But seriously, again, I have to keep giving shout outs in this one because the general contractor was incredible. And to rebuild this house, and especially the exterior, you would never have known that half the house was missing. It was
gone.
And now you look at that, and all you see is this beautiful, very dressed for the prom kind of house. Yep. And that's Michael, props to Michael. It was a marathon and not a sprint. Yeah. And we got some gray hairs. Literally, our hairs are grayer since we filmed this.
Yeah, the strips all over.
So, biggest project, hardest project to date, but probably one of the more rewarding ones that you've done, right?
Absolutely.
No. No.
I think so?
Yeah, I'm kidding. I mean, honestly, it was set for demolition with the city. I actually got a call. Remember when the demo guy called me from the city? We were halfway through the reno, and he's like, this is on my list. He's like, it's looking really pretty, but I'm literally supposed to knock this house down.
He called and I hung up on him because I thought it was
this a scam?
I did! And he called my wife and he was so angry.
She was apparently a total bitch.
Oops.
Yeah,
So
it wasn't good.
The house, the fire damage, I mean, it's overcome a lot of obstacles here.
It has.
Yeah, I mean, so it's basically new construction. Granted, again, we really tried to preserve what this house was. In the end, it was pretty dang close to impossible to preserve much more than what we did. We did what we could. The fireplace chases, a lot of the originality of the floor plan, I think we preserved. But beyond that, I mean, it's new construction for the most part. But yeah, you kept the floors on the third floor.
Yeah, there were two spaces upstairs that ended up having floors that were salvageable. So we ended up staining them a little bit darker than the rest of the house, but it's still, I like that character.
It got the originality throughout. Yep. You can go floor by floor and you can find original pieces of this 110-year-old home for sure.
The first floor, we preserved the integrity of the original floor plan, but the second and third floor we reconfigured to make it a little bit more functional, I guess. And I love how the flow ended up.
Yeah, I do too. You nailed the flow. But the functionality of this house and the floor plan really didn't allow it to be anything different than what it was. This is a 3-story grand home. That primary suite that we ended up rolling with is the star, energetically, and it always was.
So I know that when we first talked, I was super excited about the 2nd-story bathroom with the bay windows. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I actually am so happy with how the primary suite bathroom turned out. I remember too, walking through the first time and seeing that bay window and visualizing a soaker tub sitting in the middle of it.
You never swayed from this vision.
I never swayed from that vision. And Ashley and I found the pendant that is there now, and it's the perfect jewelry.
And she had to have it because you're not gonna be surprised, but we blew the budget on this, and then that ate itself, and then we re-blew another budget, and then that ate itself. And by the end, I was just like, do you really need a $1,500 light fixture for the bathtub?
I did.
And she was like, yeah. And then maybe it wasn't $1,500, but It was not a Home Depot or an Amazon.com purchase.
Right, right. Oh, but it just makes that room, I mean, the statement of it is so beautiful.
The lighting in that room is perfect. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
And you know, I think the other thing about this house is the lighting. Like, it really is incredible. There's so many windows.
The vaulted ceilings really, you can't
recreate that.
Yeah. When we were working with the architect originally, I really wanted to be able to walk in the front door, have a statement dining room fixture, and look straight into a beautiful kitchen. And we accomplished that. I really love the fixtures that we ended up picking, and I really feel like from the moment you walk in the front door, as you walk through the whole first floor, it really creates a story that is cohesive and connected, and I love how the fireplace turned out in the living room. Everything just has a really great energy about it.
And you almost had to keep the formality of this house, you know? So like blowing it open was such a good call because it gives you that modern entertainment desire that people want. Like, I want to entertain in the home. I want to see my family eating dinner while I'm cooking in this kitchen. Like, who doesn't want those things? But then the rest of the floor plan is very formal. And the house told us that, really.
Absolutely.
Tell me about some of your choices in the kitchen.
A lot of our projects, we have the vision initially when we first go in, and then there are projects like this that have an evolution about it. And this one, the bay windows, they're almost 2 feet deep. And in the kitchen, there's, I think, 4 of these bay windows. And so as we did the CAD design for the kitchen layout, we discovered really quickly that we're not going to have a lot of upper cabinets. The way that we ended up having to lay out the kitchen was the refrigerator and the pantry were going to be the height in the room. Everything else was just going to be open. So I decided to let the windows tell the biggest story in the room. The original architecture of the house got to be the primary focus.
That's beautiful.
It just turned out
It's just
so beautiful.
like elevated. I think the important thing to note here is this is a grand neighborhood. It's very diverse. There's not a lot of diversity in Kansas City, and I think South Hyde Park is one of the leaders of blending cultures and people and different belief systems. So to do this project was meaningful to me too, because it was a way to recapture a home that, you know, a 120-year-old home that was set to be torn down in a community that has been pioneers for fighting for Kansas City, like people, the people of Kansas City. So there were so many stories behind this house, but I mean, I totally digressed from what you were saying, except for great choice on those windows. Those windows were beautiful.
So the transformation has been incredible. The first time that we talked about this house, I just
walls.
remember your vision, and I was like, how can you see this right now?
I feel so proud of it. Like, I could cry on this one because it's taken so much of the emotional side. Yes, it's our biggest project, but it is by far the most emotional.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for showing us this house and letting us be a part of this story in a little way.
Thank you for haunting it.
Yeah, I did. I haunted it for that whole time.
You were so creepy in the first one.
Yeah.
Adelie as a ghost is not something that you want to think about when you go to
Maybe
bed.
the ghost can finally be put to rest now. It can have its peace.
Leave this house, woman.
No!
You are free. I think you've been
same?
stuck in this window for 2 years, and it's time for you to go
Now
eat
I
a
can
sandwich.
leave. I do.